Well, we've been talking a lot about China's influence in America, especially when it comes to social media and TikTok. Well, as you probably know, it doesn't stop there. There's outrage in Michigan after Governor Gretchen Whitmer promised to give $715 million to Goshen, a high-tech battery company.
Yeah, the company plans to build multi-billion-dollar electric vehicle battery plant in the city of Big Rapids. But as our next guest points out, in Goshen's bylaws, get this, the company pledges allegiance to the Constitution of the Communist Party of China. Joining us now to discuss, host of the Tudor Dixon podcast, Tudor Dixon. That's hard to believe. I mean, we've seen, I know Chinese have bought up a lot of Michigan land, right? A lot of property.
No, well, they're obviously buying up property all across the United States.
Right.
But yes, this is a 1 square mile of land in the middle of Michigan. And you know, what's interesting about this is generally when we see these vehicle battery plants, they're next to vehicle automotive battery or automotive plants because the batteries are heavy to move. So why is this in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Michigan? But on top of that, what we're seeing now is that in the company bylaws, as you said, they require a CCP, a Chinese Communist Party organization, in the factory to influence the grassroots of the factory. So obviously the workers.
So these are Michiganders, is that the right term?
Well, some of them, yes, but some of them will be.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, the local university there has also agreed to house 250 to 300 Chinese nationals. That's been one of the concerns, is that are these actually going to go to Michiganders, these jobs?
Yeah.
Or are these jobs that they're creating to bring Chinese nationals into Michigan? And it looks like for most of them, that will be the case.
Really?
And Tudor, they're also bringing, as you said, the propaganda arm of the CCP right into the center of the United States.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you make such a good point there, because this is propaganda. And the scary part about that is that China is they're masterful when it comes to propaganda and making sure they get their message across. We are at a point when we see President Xi meeting with President Putin, talking about bringing things to the world that we've never seen before. He is trying to play the man of peace, bringing people together. President Xi of China is trying to replace the United States, and people are buying into it. We should be terrified, and we should never allow the Chinese Communist Party to have an influence right here on our land.
So what do you think we should be doing? Because, you know, the United States is all about free enterprise. We're about innovation and all that. But then we're allowing things to happen that looks like we are losing power to the Chinese. So do you think they should be, that we should forbid them from building a plant in the middle of Michigan?
We should absolutely treat them the same way they treat us. We are not allowed to buy property in China.
Right.
We are not allowed to build factories in China that we own. There is always ownership of some sort from the CCP.
What do you think? That's common sense. What do you think the resistance is to this, to that idea, to just say, no, you can't do it?
I think we have very ignorant lawmakers. I think Gretchen Whitmer is very ignorant when it comes to China. But I also think that she is somewhat deviant in the fact that she's willing to put national security on the line for her own personal power. We've seen this even with TikTok. I saw that you were talking about TikTok. Even with TikTok, the federal government has put a ban. She's come out and said, you know, even the state government, just not for Gretchen Whitmer, because she has to communicate with people. National security to Gretchen Whitmer is nothing compared to her own political identity and power.
I
And
was going to say, it's interesting because, you know, you're talking about Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, of course, but this seems to be symptomatic of the Democrat Party around the entire country, coming straight from the administration.
You had that congressman that was talking about it xenophobic to say anything against TikTok.
Right.
I think Governor Youngkin said it best. He said, do not be romanced by jobs and put national security on the line. But the Democrats don't have much to talk about right now that is good. They can't make a lot of claims about the economy. They can't make a lot of claims about public health. So what they're doing is they're saying, look, we're bringing all these jobs. And that sounds good. If you're not really reading into it, people will say, gosh, jobs sound amazing. Do not be romanced by the thought of jobs over national security. Governor Youngkin is very smart, and he makes great points when it comes to dealing with China.
And it just seems very, very naive to
Yes.
think that, well, we're getting more jobs here. I mean, it would seem that any politician worth his or her salt would know that this is dangerous. There's a lot more going on here.
There's also a question as to, are there kickbacks? Are there other nefarious things involved here? And so, I mean, we're looking even from the local level all the way to the state level, what exactly is happening? And is that happening across the country? I mean, we're looking at that with Hunter Biden right now. Even our own president of the United States, we're saying, has he been romanced by the kickbacks of the Chinese Communist Party?
And even if not, China is arguably the biggest threat that we have against our country right now.
Absolutely. And like I said, when you see him meeting with Iran, when you see him meeting with Russia, you have to say, how can he be meeting with our largest adversaries? And we're saying it's okay to bring China right here onto our soil.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And then we have the government saying, oh, no, it's not. It's only competition. It's not a bad thing. So, again, thanks for sharing this with us, Tudor. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Tudor Dixon,
Thank
thank you.